The following podcast is scheduled for one fall. From the heart of Broadway and historic downtown Cape Girardeau, this is Pro Wrestling Unscripted. It's Wednesday, September 25th, 2019, in the year of our Lord, Rip Rogers, and this is Pro Wrestling Unscripted. That was the first name I could think of off the top of my head, and I already regret it. My name is Shannon Young. I'm Mr. 100. I'm going to be your host tonight. With me, as always, Asa Gray, the 5-star man.
Our Lord is John Wick, sir.
Oh, you mean Justin Smart?
John Wick.
The assassin of House
I know
100.
he's not going to listen to this, so I mean...
No, we said his name.
John Wick.
His ears perked up.
Yeah, I think if you say his name legally, say his name 3 times and it'll appear with a can of Bang.
Yeah.
We have 2 special guests with us tonight. First off, the biggest face in Cape Championship Wrestling, just a huge star, Ali Abear.
Oh, hi.
Yes.
My God.
F him up. F him up.
Yeah, seriously, like that was incredible. We got the Big D, Dalton Anthony.
Yo.
And then, of course, our special guest tonight is Jason Wells, the owner of Cape Championship Wrestling and our good friend.
One of the owners. Thank you for
One
having me.
One of 3 owners.
Yes. 4.
4 owners.
4 owners, yeah. One of 4 owners. We have moved up with Mr. Jeff Odell joining us, and an incredible get for us, and something that I was really excited about, someone that so much experience and knowledge. I mean, been around CCW since the beginning, so super happy to have him. And thanks for having me tonight.
Oh, thank you.
As AT&T is leaving.
Jeff Odell, not to jump on the Jeff Odell love train, but Jeff Odell has helped me so much, like advice whenever I need it. A handshake. He tells me, hey, you did a good job. Like he is just a prince.
Jeff Odell is so mean to me anytime I mess up something with the ring. No, he's not.
Well, then don't mess it up.
Yeah, if you don't screw things up, you're not going to get made fun of anymore. All right, so we're talking about wrestling tonight. We got some news and notes for the week, of course, and then we will be talking about Cape Championship Wrestling Best of the Best 4 this weekend from the Charleston High School in Charleston, Missouri. Which, by the way, the very first prototype poster I made for that had a spelling error where I put Charleston with the E before the L, and I fixed it, but every time I see the poster posted, someone just took the one I posted originally and they repost it.
Oh.
So they keep reposting the misspelling. And every time I see it, I feel bad inside. Because
Does it make me terrible that I've never noticed?
I didn't notice it until later. And like at first I thought, well, no one really cares. Charleston's like, they have a Pizza Hut. That's about it.
No, they have a Dollar General and a Subway.
A Country Mart.
They used to have a Walmart, but they don't anymore.
I wish that figure finding is getting really annoying in this area.
And you got to find those Ninja Turtle WWE figures.
Ghostbusters.
What did I say?
Ninja Turtles.
Yeah,
they made those before.
They did make those because I have Leonardo.
They
Finn
did
Balor.
two. They did two runs of them.
Yeah, I got the Finn Balor Leonardo. It's one of my favorites. Anyway, let's talk about wrestling. Asa, first off, and Jason as well. And also Ali and Dalton.
I guess we're not talking on this one,
Yeah.
Alan.
I was like, I don't remember what the order that I put stuff in.
Well, first we're talking about All Elite Wrestling, and of course our boy Marco Stunt is all in with All Elite Wrestling. We're extremely proud of him. Dalton's literally flipping somebody off.
Somebody was looking into the window with like a headlight on, like a
It's one of the AT&T guys has the
I
headlamp.
flipped
Yeah,
that dude off.
Oh, good.
hence
Wow.
the flashing truck that's parked out there.
Goody.
Wow.
All Elite Wrestling's TV show is going to be it's Dynamite.
Wednesday Night Dynamite.
Wednesday Night Dynamite. It's confirmed to be TV 14, which we kind of assumed it would be.
Cody confirmed that on Twitter.
And it starts next week.
Yep.
Yeah, next week is
How
arguably
crazy is that?
I don't
awesome.
think it's a uncontroversial statement to say that next week could potentially be the biggest week in wrestling history.
And it's my birthday week.
No one cares about that.
I do.
Because it's
I'm with you.
It's the Raw season premiere. Technically, that's not super special. Tuesday night, we're going to jump ahead a little bit. Impact debuts on Axis.
Yep.
Wednesday is AEW debut episode.
Going against
NXT, which will be its 3rd week live.
Yep.
But they've already loaded up that show to keep as many viewers as possible.
So
there.
NXT has been on Wednesday nights?
Tonight was the 2nd week.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it went live last week.
Oh, wow.
Was the first episode.
Okay, I missed that.
And also, it was really good. Like, I ended up watching it the next day.
2 hours.
And I enjoyed it. It was a really, really good episode. They had a lot of really good matches. We have a number 1 contender tonight for the NXT Championship. It's Matt Riddle versus Adam Cole. I just saw that. I'm excited for that match.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be fantastic. I am a big Matt Riddle fan when he doesn't talk.
No, that's
sometimes
that's why I love him.
You know,
Bro.
I feel like who should be his manager? Who says bro a lot?
Who?
I was gonna say something else, but it's obviously Vince Russo, so I'll just say that.
Oh.
Louis works with his son.
Vince Russo's son?
Yeah.
Oh,
How weird is that?
that's cool.
This is just an odd thing. Anyway, so yeah,
Well, then Friday is the premiere of Fox Smackdown on Fox.
that's all next week, really.
Yeah, that's all next week.
I didn't know AEW and Fox, the Fox deal were premiering the same week. That's
And
insane.
Impact's premiere, which that was just announced a couple days, like not very long ago.
Yeah.
But and then there's the let's see, what is it? Beyond Wrestling has a show Thursday, and then Saturday New Japan on Axis and Women and WOW.
And of course, coming soon, Chaos will be back on YouTube every Wednesday night. Legitimately have people that are asking about it. Like people on the YouTube channel go, "Hey, when is the show coming back? We missed the show."
Oh, yeah.
So it's exciting. Jason, would you say that this is probably the best time to be a wrestling fan in wrestling history?
In about, 15 years? Is that when the last time?
20 years.
20 years.
About to say they closed
Jeez, I'm
in.
getting old.
Well, whenever WCW was worth a damn.
Well,
it was
yeah,
20 years
even,
ago.
I mean, you got to even move that back because WCW sucked about 4 or 5 years before it actually closed.
I remember
But
Scott Steiner told me that a lot
yeah,
on WCW TV.
yes, and yeah, it's really exciting. I mean, you got different kind of wrestling. You know that the cool thing is WWE is having to step up
Yeah.
because they were just so. That's why they put all this pretty much crap out there. And with Raw and all those, I really don't even watch anymore. I
We
mean,
don't either.
the coolest thing that's going on is Bray Wyatt. I'm
Yeah.
a huge fan of the his gimmick, what he's got going. That's really cool. But now bringing NXT in and putting those guys out there that deserve to be, and AEW is going to be huge. Super excited about that. And Brock winning the championship this coming Friday should be awesome.
Don't you want us to be like
Yep.
What? Are you not a Brock Lesnar fan?
not compared to
Bump,
Kofi?
Bump, bump, bump.
Kofi had his time. It's time.
He has had one of the strongest WWE championship runs in recent memory.
I think it's
If
more
not
that
unspectacular.
you just don't want him to lose it to Brock. Give it to someone else who's also maybe
Yeah.
up and coming, deserving.
Especially
Brock,
it's like-
Brock has been held down for so long and kind of kept, and
He
does-
hasn't
They
gotten a
don't
fair
even.
shake
They don't
in,
even
like,
let him
weeks.
come on all the shows. Like he wants to show up at Raw and SmackDown. He don't even get to do that. So now they're finally letting the beast loose.
so I can go home, right?
So
Yeah, you-
I have to go buy lotion.
like
just call
like
out
us on
when you leave.
Facebook, subscribe to our Patreon, and
No, you guys stay.
Yeah, that's our
I
punishment.
had trending Trent Daniels this week. I got this clown now.
what?
Why do I got to play off of the jerks?
Yeah, I mean it just makes sense for Brock to win.
Well, and
though.
Roman's on SmackDown too.
Well,
For now, because next week's the
draft.
draft. Well, the week after is the draft.
Yeah, they're gonna have to change some stuff up. I've seen a lot of they want Bray on SmackDown, and
That makes sense with it being on Fox. That
I
they
really
wanna-
hate what they're doing with him though. So that kind of bothers
That he's already
me
in
too.
the Universal
Yeah, he
Championship.
should not be. He should just be demolishing
Especially with the way they did it.
everybody.
Did you see what happened at the end of Raw? They showed me the clip of it where Seth Rollins is literally
Screaming in
in
terror.
the corner screaming in terror, hiding as Bray Wyatt stares at him. Like, what a way to make I
So,
get you're
for
trying
the
to put
second
Bray
week-
Wyatt over, but
for the
Jesus.
second week in a row.
Bray Wyatt was wearing a Becky Lynch mask.
Oh snap! Is he scared of his girlfriend?
Why wouldn't he be?
What had an I'm pregnant
She's the
thing
man.
on it.
Oh, is it? Oh, so she's Maria.
Yeah. Jeez.
That's
But Seth isn't. But Seth isn't the dad.
No.
Poor
They're gonna get
Rusev.
more. They're getting
Poor Rusev.
preaching
see,
to the choir.
It should be his day.
Preaching to the choir.
I want to say that I think Dalton's eating crow because Dalton had no faith in what they were going to do with Mike and Maria. Well, years later, now look at it, buddy.
Joke's on you.
Joke's on you.
There's the illegitimate child angle.
No.
It worked
okay,
so well for Jason Jordan.
They're legitimately bringing. I think Maury Povich tweeted about it, and there's a good chance they're going to bring Maury Povich in
Yeah.
to do the test. And if that happens, I may lose my shit because I used to watch Maury Povich
All the
daily.
time. Oh yeah, no, I did too.
Yeah.
In high school, because it was always on whenever I got home from school.
But then it completely did turn into the "You Are Not the Father" show.
That's when I was watching it.
Oh,
That was
really?
when that was
Yeah.
it's his best.
It
Apex.
certainly was his most profitable, and I think WWE would be stupid not to capitalize on that. Like, legitimately, bring Maury on there, let him do the test. Anyway, AEW next week. Do you buy into what Kenny Omega said? Do you think it was in character, or do you think this was legitimate when he said, when you watch AEW, you're watching actual stars, not developmental people, and he really took a shot at NXT? and a lot of people responded. Some people said this is clearly a work. He's just being in character. Some people said, no, this is legitimate. What do you guys think?
I think it's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Because
I think he's 50-50 right.
Yeah, he does kind of have a point because you look at some of the names that were on even the debut episode. Like, that wasn't all and to be fair, NXT's roster isn't all.
Yeah.
You only have so many Adam Coles, Matt Riddles, Velveteen Dreams.
But like, not the main event of the USA stream was Keith Lee versus Dijak
for tonight.
And that was on USA, and like, not a lot of people probably know those names, but I wouldn't say those are developmental talents.
I would say half of it is.
I would also say that a lot
right.
of AEW's guys aren't really like, they're on the same level as a lot of NXT guys, where they're newer guys coming in that people maybe haven't heard of.
Well, the difference is, the difference is you have a mixture of both of those on the show. Like, you have your guys like your Orange Cassidys, your Jungle Boy and Marco and those guys. You have those, but you also have Jericho and Sean Spears and Cody and Dustin. You have vets on there. This one is just pretty much, I mean, you had Adam Cole, who had success in Ring of Honor, and Matt Riddle, who was going to be big wherever he went, just because people love Matt Riddle.
I think I'm trying to think of other really named
brands. You could even put Kyle
Johnny
in there.
Johnny Gargano, anyone in Undisputed Era.
Undisputed Era, Gargano,
Ciampa.
all those guys, Ciampa, all those guys are really good, but they've never been on TV. They've never been at, no matter what you do and how big AEW is, it's not WrestleMania. That's still like the top, but you have guys that have been in big matches at WrestleMania that's on your show. So I think that's the deal. I think I'm excited about both of them.
Absolutely.
I love NXT and the shows that they put on are always awesome. You can tell who runs it and who makes it, who sets those up.
And hopefully stays that way.
Yes.
Hopefully. Because I think NXT is the best chance that they have to fight AEW. Because the AEW crowd, I don't think is going to cross over from WWE. It will, but the mainstream WWE fans are not the same mainstream AEW fans, but the NXT fans could be AEW fans.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
You're fighting fire with fire kind of in that. Because like, if you're just like, we're going to put Raw on Wednesdays then, and people are going to be like, we don't give a shit about that show.
Right.
Exactly.
Well, and there's also it's way more likely that if because we told the story last week when we talked about it going live on Wednesday and how many more people will know Undisputed Era who have no idea they exist right now.
Right.
Because like Enzo and Cass, hottest thing in NXT. Arguably like one of the hottest acts in wrestling in general. They come to the Show Me Center at a house show, and we are 10%, like the five of us are 10% of the people in that building of hundreds who know who they are.
Yeah.
So whereas now you have, I watch Raw, I watch SmackDown. Oh, WWE's putting on there's a third brand. I can watch that on the same network that I watch this already. They are way more likely to watch NXT than even when they see those ads that AEW's running during Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. They're less likely, even though they have it on cable, they might stumble across it, but I don't see it swaying that many mainstream people.
Right.
At least
the
initially.
crazy thing is, like, Raw was always the pinnacle, the top.
That was the A show.
Yeah, and it's not like that anymore.
Once it got it back from Nitro, it never it's not even come close.
Now that SmackDown is on Fox,
I was gonna say, is it the Fox deal that sealed the deal for Raw, basically?
Yeah, pretty much. That's going to be the A show. They're demanding who they want on there. They wanted Lesnar. They got him on there. They want Rousey. Of course, she's going to be on there when she comes back. I mean, they want Bray Wyatt. They're pretty much picking and choosing who they want on there, and it's people that are over, and
it's going to be the reverse of every time there was a draft and SmackDown just got picked clean.
Oh, shafted
everyone went to Raw, and then SmackDown develops like, okay, so here's the B squad, and I don't mean that as an insult, but it's like, okay, we've lost all of the people who gained popularity on SmackDown, and now it's that branch of people came up and blew the doors off the place. Now we're just going to see those roles reversed because SmackDown wants all the big established names, so Raw's going to be that, which is weird because Raw's still going to be 3 hours.
yeah.
And do you think it was a smart idea putting Eric Bischoff in charge of SmackDown with Fox? Because from what I understand is part of the reason he was put in charge because he has more he has more experience talking with executives. He is more of an executive. He's a TV guy. As opposed to Paul Heyman, which is arguably creatively better than Eric Bischoff.
Better than anybody.
And he's on Raw. Do you think that was the smart move, or would you reverse that, or how would you do?
Well, I mean, business-wise, I mean, I don't know how they deal with their stuff. I mean, if I'm just looking for more of a creative angle, when SmackDown got really good, when they were the B squad, it was Paul was booking that show.
02 to 05.
Yeah, I mean, he was doing that. I mean, he was doing the stuff with Angle and Benoit
And Lesnar.
and yeah, I mean, all those guys. He was developing it when you had Triple H and the big names on Raw. They were making those guys something on SmackDown and building them up so they could go to Raw. It was almost like they're NXT, but now it's totally different. Paul Heyman is and will always be my guy that I look up to. Like the stuff he did in ECW, some of it was cutting edge and a little bit rough, but I mean, the guy he's always been relevant in the stuff that he could do.
And self-made.
You could put most people with him. I mean, he got Curtis Axel over. He got who else was he working with?
Did he get Curtis Axel?
He got Curtis. I mean, they got the Intercontinental title run out of him, and I mean,
Triple H had a heat stroke fighting him.
Yeah, I mean,
I think his work with Lesnar alone, like just even as a managerial role,
him stuff in Punk was really good.
Yeah.
They did really good.
he's done one of my favorite promos of all time was the Raw promo where he got in Vince's face and said, you screwed me first, and that was one of the pipe bombs, before CM Punk ever did it.
Yeah.
It's just bone chilling how good he is at it.
Let me direct you to the 05 One Night Stand promo.
Oh my God,
That
yeah,
was a great one too.
My favorite line from that to this day is still of Edge. I'm going to say to you 2 words that no one else has the balls to say: Matt effing Hardy, and Edge's spit take response to that. Oh, that's
No,
classic.
his one to JBL of the only reason you held the belt for so long is because Triple H didn't want to work Tuesday.
See, that's just mean. that's just mean.
But
is what
JBL's
that
an
is.
example of a guy who they didn't really see on Raw.
Yeah, SmackDown.
Put him on SmackDown, totally reinvent him, and he becomes one of the best world heavyweight champions WWF has ever had. WWE's ever had.
Yeah, agreed.
I just say, and Bischoff has not had the best run.
He had.
I saw a thing
Lately.
that apparently they're not happy with him because of the way the Daniel Bryan,
The Roman thing,
Reigns
yeah.
story has played out so far. But again, that's all just kind
Which
of like
I've always been
rumor.
a fan of Eric
I
Bischoff.
dig that because I love what they're doing with Rowan now. Like
I do
Rowan legitimately, he went from just being kind of the silent just muscle behind the person talking to, oh no, he's a character. Like he has motivations now.
Yeah.
He kind of reminds me of Bane.
A little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It was great they put him back with Luke.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh
they
my
were.
God, yes.
They. I think they had the title stripped from them, didn't they?
Because
he
they were
got hurt.
because Harper got hurt.
Yeah. So now that they're back,
Or-
they
no.
never lost.
Rowan got hurt.
Rowan got hurt, and then they just kept, and then I think Harper got hurt after.
Yeah.
Maybe they
'Cause
just didn't
Rowan
have
came
anything
back,
For him. He
yeah.
might not even been hurt. They just didn't do anything with him. When
No,
they
he got
were-
hurt because everybody did the joke of somebody got hurt, so they added 3 more months to Harper's contract.
Yeah, of course. But those together, they've never been defeated as a team. They're like Chronic.
Oh, jeez.
Greatest of all time.
One of my, they're probably my favorite tag team going right now.
They are the Bludgeon Brothers without the stupid name and hammers.
Less so with the Bludgeon Brothers stupid ass stuff.
Like last
because
week's-
their outfits when they did the fake Kane look too, I just hated
That's
it.
what I mean. Like
Bludgeon Brothers,
whereas
yeah.
last week they tore up the set and the ring and all that, and it's like, no, that's impactful. That's cool.
Because they're legitimately dangerous. I say and stand by, like, physically looking at somebody. Luke Harper is the most intimidating person on any roster. Like, you can look at Luke Harper and he reminds me of Bruiser Brody. Everyone says he kind of looks like Bruiser Brody. He does.
Yeah.
He's got the wild eyes. He's got the hair, the beard. Like,
Incredible wrestler.
yeah. And if I were going to a wrestling show and I saw, Luke Harper on a card with Undisputed Era or anybody like that, he would stand out. Luke Harper would be the guy that I'd be like, man, who is that? That guy's nuts.
Yeah,
It
absolutely.
turns out he's the nicest guy in the world.
He was a librarian.
Yeah, imagine that being your librarian.
I'm good.
I would.
Right.
I'm returning. I return every book on time forever, early
I brought this
even,
back a day early.
And you still
with a
pay the
tip.
fee.
Yeah, with a tip.
Yeah. All right, so moving on from AEW, and again, next week, huge week. Do we know, is Marco going to be on first episode?
I believe so. From my understanding, I think he will be the first and the third week. I think, but that's coming from
Right.
me.
I know they
Who
just
knows?
announced that the Hangman Page Pac match is going to be next week.
I do think it's a little odd that
Yes.
the way they've divided up their people where it's like Jericho will be on episode 3 as opposed to every week the same guy is coming out.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like, on one hand, I think that's fresh because you don't get tired of seeing the same people over and over again. But I also worry that for people that maybe aren't as established, you want to see them every week so you kind of build more
The
of an
thing about it
attachment.
is they're gonna be on there in some capacity. I mean, he's a champion.
He can't just not be on the show. Yeah.
he's gonna be on there. But I mean, you got so much.
Yeah,
Are
it's
they
it's
2
pretty
hours?
unprecedented to have a champion not be on your weekly show.
They're 2
Jesus
hours,
Christ.
right?
I think so.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, so they're going to be 2 hours. You got so many guys like
So much Brock hate.
you got.
He didn't even get it.
No, I don't have to.
I hate that. That's just a perfect response. Like, there's nothing.
don't
What can
have
I
to.
say to that?
You can't. I'm killing it tonight. Call him a bitch.
Allie,
Why?
you call
Allie,
him.
I don't
don't.
know.
I can't.
I'm just going to kick it to you at any time to say that.
I get to choose when I
The
say
bitch
it.
point.
But
What about him?
I'm in the. Just know that I'm in the middle of
Looking at hater,
packing
tell
and
me-
moving,
tell
and
me
I'm in a very
what to say.
fragile state. My hands are costing me so much money.
Yeah, well,
Jesus.
anyway, like I said, there's so
I'm
much
ill.
talent at AEW. 2 hours is great. That's what Raw should have stayed with because they could have had their top guys going all the time. But I like what they're doing, getting Cody and Sammy in a match to really showcase Sammy. And that's going to develop him into people are going to know who he is now. Just like they did with Darby Allin.
Yeah.
I knew who Darby was. He was incredible. And they put him in a match with Cody, and he killed it. He made that name for himself.
And
When you-
almost himself.
Yeah,
That's him.
That's-
and
yeah,
everything
that's Darby
he
Allin.
does.
Yeah, I know.
If you look back at his stuff when they threw him into the pole and
I
all this
can't,
other
man.
stuff.
I
you-
can't with that.
Do you remember what I said when we watched that match? When he came out and it was that one perfect shot of the not painted side of his face?
Oh, you're going to have to remind me.
Oh, he's that handsome too? I hate him.
Yeah.
I hate Darby Allin.
He's a
I
good-looking dude.
I really like Darby Allin. I really do. But when I saw him do was it the casket?
Yeah, the casket
drop?
coffin drop.
Coffin drop. I thought that is the dumbest thing I
You
think
didn't
I've seen
see-
in
You didn't see
in
him
years.
do it to the Cracker Barrel.
I did see it.
Oh, you saw that?
I did see it.
It's a big old barrel F that.
We didn't. We
It's forceful.
didn't bring
it's
it
a
up.
good. It's a good finish.
It's just it's scary. It's really scary.
Yeah.
And man, no.
No, I mean, I wouldn't do it, but
I
yeah.
don't, I don't understand how wrestlers these days do this and don't get hurt. We saw he's probably not listening, but if he is, we saw that GIF of Chris Jones, Mega Chris Jones, friend of the CCW, and worked the shows many times. A great guy. That GIF of him or the video clip of him doing the what was it, like a double stomp? He tried to do like a coup de
He was-
grace,
yeah.
and he accidentally hit the rope and flipped and almost killed himself. Like much
High
respect,
risk, high
much
reward.
respect.
Wrestling's dangerous. And here's the thing, like you see football players, you know, they run, they cut, they go out of bounds and they tear their ACL.
Yeah.
You never know that. I mean, I've managed a guy that tore his ACL at the beginning of a match.
Well, we've said before.
You know.
I mean, look at
Hulk Hogan.
the match with
he
match
never
with
tore his
Nev.
ACL.
No, but like Hulk Hogan never did a high risk maneuver.
Yeah, he can barely walk.
He
now,
can
just
barely
doing leg
walk.
drops.
Yeah, it's just wrestling takes such a toll. No matter what style you work, it takes such a toll on your
Neville
body.
doing a baseball slide breaks his ankle.
Yeah,
Like literally everything
Yeah,
you
RVD
do.
did that.
Jonathan at the first Red Devil's Revenge or second Red Devil's Revenge when
It
he
was the first
broke
one.
Oh,
his
yeah, it was
leg.
the first one because I was at the baseball field.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
just out of
literally-
nowhere.
Literally everything that is done inside of a wrestling ring could result in injury for
Dumbass
either you
almost
or
broke his neck over here just a couple weeks ago.
No, I didn't almost break my neck. I almost needed plastic surgery. That was two different things.
I gave you a shout out on CCW Live.
Yeah, you prick. I laughed.
All right, Allie, you're gonna like this news. We got to move on. Glow has been renewed for the 4th season
And it's final season.
and final season. Okay, thank you for putting that in there. You really like that show. I know
I
you're a
do.
big fan of it.
Yes.
I thought it was a really good wrestling show that turned into a real sex episode from HBO. No, I kid.
everyone on that show is a million times more attractive than every collective. Add up every attractiveness point of anyone who's ever been on Real Sex, and it's still like
Jason, what do you think of Glow?
He's never watched it.
I've watched more of the actual Glow than I've watched of the TV show, and that's not a shot at it because I heard it's great. I just
I'm
I'm bad about watching TV.
Yeah, I haven't got to watch hardly any of it. I watched like the first episode, and then I seen the stuff that Joey was on there and he did, but that was about. I think that was about it.
Joey Chavo was on there.
Yeah, Chavo.
So whenever everybody's told me Joey Ryan was on the show,
yes.
and then nobody told me that Alex Riley was his opponent,
Oh,
and I got
didn't know that till
super
just now.
excited for Alex Riley seeing him because
Who?
A-Rai.
A-Rai, he was with The Miz for a while.
Oh, that guy.
What was
Yeah.
his theme song? No, I'm thinking of somebody else.
no, it is. Say it to my face.
Yeah. Well,
Say it to my face.
I bet John Cena don't know him.
I think that's Downstate. I think that was a Downstate song too.
I think he does know him. I think John Cena goes home at night and he has just a dartboard with A-Rai's face on it. He's just spiteful.
I think you're giving A-Rai entirely too much credit in the life of John Cena.
I always
He
liked
met- he
A-Rai.
That was the most impactful day of A-Rai's life.
But-
to John Cena,
It
it
was
was
a
a Tuesday.
Yeah,
Best-
the same date.
best
Brock
line,
Lesnar Day,
movie
Tuesdays.
line ever. The Lord giveth and the Lord taketh
No,
away.
it's not. He doesn't show up to SmackDown until it's on
Nice
Fridays.
thing for you.
Do we know when Glow is premiering?
I can find out.
Okay,
Do
can
they
you?
have a premiere date?
I don't know. It's pretty early.
Usually they just order for shows and then they just pop up.
Once this is over, you're gonna have
I mean,
to
they
just resort
announced
to
when it will
watching
be.
the Big Show's show
Oh.
on Netflix.
Well, what is it?
It's a show about Big Show, who is the Big Show.
It's supposed
And it's
to be
about him and his
his
family.
life with his fake family that
Yeah.
Hell
they
yeah.
auditioned and picked people.
But
for
he's
the
still the
roles
Big
of.
Show with a fake family. Yeah, he's Paul White, the Big Show, which they'll probably never say his name. It'll just be Big Show constantly. Mr. Show, and oh fuck, I love that show. Mr. Show with Bob and David. Yeah, that's so good. Anyway,
I don't think
So
they've.
Impact.
I don't think they've announced
Yeah,
a
I think
date
they just announced that it has been
It's just-
renewed
yeah.
for a fourth and final season.
because apparently that was very, very iffy.
hey, Asa, do you remember we talked a couple weeks ago about the long shoot on Impact that apparently that caused some problems?
Yeah, with the Brian Cage wedding.
The wedding. Was that what this story is?
Yeah.
Okay, you want to tell us about it?
So they filmed in Las Vegas. It was the Brian Cage Melissa Santos wedding for Impact, and apparently for whatever reason that shoot went super long. And not only did it go long, but like they didn't cater, or there were issues with that. Like, so it just kind of was a nightmare day for a lot of the people involved. So it came out recently that Impact is now going to be issuing bonuses to the talent that were there that day,
Oh, good for them.
which
Well deserved. You gotta sit around and do stuff like that forever. That's gotta suck. Because I mean, normally you
I
gotta.
thought you were being sarcastic. I thought you were.
No, I'm being for real. I mean that's you're sitting around all day for a skit.
hmm
You know, and that's all you're doing. You got to realize these wrestlers, like, there's some that we bring in, and you really think about it, they're going to fly here. They're going to come in here. They're going to put on a 10 to 15 minute match. And if you break it down by hour, they're getting paid lots of money.
Mm-hmm.
Now, their time is valuable. You know, they're going to put on 10, 15, 20 minute match and they get paid a certain amount of money. So I guess if you're under contract, maybe it's something different, but yeah, it's probably still not worth it. And from my understanding, the Impact contracts are a little weird anyway.
The whole Killer Cross thing is kind of shining a light on how Impact is paying their. But they also, like a couple weeks ago, we talked about it. It seems like every positive, it's classic Impact, where every time there's a positive story, something negative comes out to kind of cancel it out. Like, I mean, it's, hey, they're going to start paying for the talent hotels whenever they go traveling. Awesome. That's a cool thing. Like, and again, when you think about it, should probably be standard.
Yeah.
When it comes to the amount of travel that they do, like they have to pay that out of their own pocket.
But
And
that's
granted,
not
there's
even
tax breaks, and that's not even,
normally in WWE. They don't even do that.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing.
Ask Bailey.
Yeah, Bailey did that interview with the lady on like Fox or something, and she was like, "Oh, so you guys get in the bus?" She's like, "No, we rent our own cars and drive ourselves." You don't have drivers? And then she's like, "You want me to start talk to the union people before?" And she's like, "Oh yeah, so Fox on Smackdown on Fox is gonna be great. We love working there. Everything's wonderful."
You
but
can
yeah,
just
no.
hear the from behind
And
her.
then it's not, the time frame is not lining up, but it's like, oh, Scarlett Bordeaux has to have like an actual full-time job because of how little Impact pays her. And then there's the whole Killer Cross thing coming out of
Little as she does. I mean,
like even Jordan Grace
Huh?
talks about having like she keeps her full-time job. Like she has a,
yeah. Well, that's the
but
thing.
but also she says most of like, because she actually loves whatever it is that she does.
And the good thing about Impact is they let their guys and girls go wrestle other places,
Mhm.
and that makes a lot of their money for them. You know, that's something that WWE, like, they have to pay more because they are
Exclusive.
they're exclusive. They had to do that. So I mean, you've got, I don't know. I liked Impact, then it kind of fell off. I'm kind of feeling the new Impact and teaming up with Mark Cuban.
I'm the only person at the table who watches it regularly because it's on Twitch and it makes it
Okay.
super easy.
Oh, I can watch it on Twitch. That's right.
No, this happens every
I hate
week.
it.
Oh, I keep forgetting.
Oh, my God.
I always forget it's
also,
on Twitch.
I thought
even
it
though
was on
it's-
like
So
Access.
it was on
Whoa.
Pursuit. It was on Pursuit Network.
Yeah, you heard that right. The
uh,
Pursuit Network.
I actually had that network.
What?
You and like 17
How?
other
Yeah.
people.
You're
on,
you're 20% of the listenership viewership.
on DirecTV had it.
Yeah, so they were on Pursuit. Access, Anthem Media bought Access last week, and now they're going back to Access.
Yeah.
Starting next week, next Tuesday, at 8/7 Central is when it's going to be airing. It will still keep that simulcast on Twitch though. So Tuesday nights you can still go to Impact's Twitch channel and watch Impact, which I really like. I think creatively, they're more hits than misses. There's still some stuff going on that I really don't like, but compared to...
I liked her talent.
Yeah, and they have a
Great
really,
talent.
really good roster.
Great
and
roster.
Yeah, I think
especially
that-
considering when they lost like a bunch of their... And they still continue to lose like big names. Like they lost recently Johnny Impact, LAX had their last match.
They don't have any of the originals anymore, do they? Like is there a
Pretty
single
well, no.
original TNA wrestler on there
I
anymore?
think at this point Moose
Moose
is the...
wasn't original.
Yeah, he wasn't
no,
even
he's
the
not.
longest.
No, that's
tenured,
what I mean. But
baby.
I think he might be like one of the longest tenured people going now.
Yeah,
Dalton?
Gail Kim.
Yeah, but she's not.
She retired.
She's retired. Yeah,
Okay, I thought she was on there every once in a while.
She came back and wrestled Tessa Blanchard for like a big event, but like that brought her out of retirement.
So they still have a lot to to go for sure. But to me, and I know a lot of people won't agree with this, but to me, Tessa's the best women's wrestler in the world right now.
I think Tessa
I don't think that's
is
as controversial as you might think.
She is
Yeah.
hot tamales when it
Well,
comes
I
to
know
wrestling.
a lot of WWE people are really gonna like. Oh, are you kidding me? Becky
Charlotte.
Lynch
But
is,
they're
and
they're
Charlotte
saying
and-
that, but they've literally never seen a Tessa Blanchard match.
Yeah, exactly.
Like especially a Tessa Blanchard match in the last year.
Yeah.
Because that is like that. She's my shoe in for most improved at the
Was
end of the year.
WWE ever close to signing her, or it was a fever dream, Dalton?
No, she did NXT.
She did a couple NXT stuff.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, because that's whenever I first saw her. Because I was like, Blanchard, I know that.
It's the same because it's Tully Blanchard's daughter, right?
Yeah.
and Magnum TI's daughter.
Niece. Oh,
Was it Magnum's daughter or is it Tully's
I
daughter?
believe it's.
I don't think it can be both.
Yeah, I think Magnum is.
correct yourself. They could be married.
No, I think Magnum is maybe the stepdad, and Tully is the
father.
biological. Yeah, I think that's how it
I
goes.
think
But
you're right.
yeah, I
The
think that's how
Pappy
it is.
Familius.
Yeah, but either way, Tessa would be great. All the time, and you could probably come see her some super show that we might be having soon. You
Like
never
if
know.
someone were to
please.
put on a super show, she might be there.
Exactly, she might have been contacted to come in
At a super show.
at a super duper show.
Yeah.
in April.
I got to put a duper on that one.
In the Aprils?
In the Aprils.
Ooh. I mean, that does sound like
way different
that
from the
sounds like
maze.
that sounds like a good time to have a super show.
Yeah,
like
April
WrestleMania.
1st.
No, maybe the end of it.
All
But
right,
yeah, I
What's
like
our next
Tessa.
story?
okay, other news. RVD undergoing stem cell treatment in Colombia.
Don't follow this dude on Instagram.
Yeah, did you see the
No,
picture
at
I
work.
saw?
Don't
Was it
follow
the
at
picture
work.
of him in the pool with the two girls holding their breasts?
or was it the one with all the butts?
Yeah, because there was one with like more asses behind him.
Jesus.
Yeah.
What?
RVD's
All right.
a pimp.
All right,
He
I'll
is
show you.
straight.
I thought he was married to some girl.
Yeah,
He-
I think
he
she
is-
might have been in the picture.
No, but I think they have but I think they're like poly. I think they're polyamorous because he mentioned like
That's a good Breaking
with
Benjamin
his
song too.
with his yeah it is.
It is.
With his wife and her girlfriend,
Yeah,
and it's like and
he's in
so
the pool and
he's
he's
in a
got his
hot
arms around
tub
him.
and they're topless. They're each holding one, and then his hand is covering the other.
Now, Allie,
Aw, that's
What?
sweet.
as a girl that has a boyfriend, would you allow your boyfriend to take that picture with you and another girl?
No, because I wouldn't take a picture like that.
Oh, guys, that's true.
personally.
Is that the butt picture? Is that
Yeah.
from Butt Frenzy? Can I see Butt
Wait.
Frenzy real quick?
Yeah, my favorite
Butt
comment on
frenzy.
that was Tommy Dreamer made a comment saying, wait, is this part of the stem cell research?
Can you guess what's on my mind? And
Stem cell research.
Candace
It's weed.
Michelle replied, "That's rough life, brother."
There was one where it was like a bunch
Oh,
of
Allie's
boobs.
gonna want to see it.
Yeah.
She's a fan of girls' butts.
There was one where it was like, oh yeah, I'm taking my divorce well, and it was just boobs on boobs on boobs.
Jeez.
But
I love
the
RVD.
I think this is the same program that Brian Cage is doing because he mentioned going to Colombia to get that same stem cell treatment for his back.
Stem cells are pretty much the way of the future. They really are. You just
Look what it did for Mysterio's knee.
look what it did for
Gene
Professor
Hackman.
Farnsworth.
Christopher Reeves.
Mm,
No.
I don't think it worked for him.
That was
Oh.
Well,
going on
he
with
can't
wrestling.
walk, but he's certainly flying with the Angels.
Oh, Superman.
I feel bad about that. Like I don't like making those jokes anymore. I feel a little dirty. So let's go to
a better person.
a positive story. There's a potential AEW DC Comics partnership. Is that positive?
I think so. I mean, it could
Because
be.
is Marvel with WWE? Who does
No,
WWE?
Marvel is Boom. Or no, Marvel's Boom. WWE is Boom. But
But
they
that
canceled.
is
But
canceled,
yeah, they
yeah.
canceled that book. But so I think they're still doing like one shots.
Well, then that would be
every
big
once
if
in a while.
AEW got with
I haven't
DC.
gotten one in a while.
But yeah, Marvel was Boom.
That has something to do with Turner anyway, right?
They're both under Warner Brothers.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah, AEW's both under Warner Brothers. There was an image that Jericho posted on his Instagram done by a DC artist. And they're teasing an AEW DC relationship.
Greg Capullo drawing Chris Jericho.
He's no.
A little bit of
That is the one.
bubbly.
That is like Jericho's body does not. Well,
Now it will. It's more media.
I'm going to counter that with Greg Capullo drawing Rusev. That's because Rusev looks like a Greg Capullo drawing.
That's true.
Rob
come to
Liefeld
life.
drawing any of them.
No, because they have a bottom half.
And feet.
Yeah, educated feet even.
Stan Lane was the only drawer I knew.
Someone pointed out
Drawer.
that
Where are
some-
you from?
Huh? I don't know where your mom's at.
God damn!
someone pointed out that
I
Jericho
broke
is
my voice laughing at that one.
now the first person to have to be represented in comics from 4 different companies. CMLL self-published a comic. WCW used to have a Marvel comic
I remember that.
that he was in. He was in the Boom WWE comic at some point, and now if AEW gets a DC comic, then he'd be in that.
So Pro Wrestling Crate, this ties in. Pro Wrestling Crate, one of the things they gave me was a graphic novel of the Luchaverse, all the one shots, because it was like the Lucha Brothers one. There's like a Rey Mysterio. They do the Lucha Brothers. Like it's really cool. I need you to look at it. It's actually pretty cool.
I know you said Tessa Blanchard's probably your most improved or whatever. I'm going to put my money that Chris Jericho might be the hottest up-and-comer in wrestling.
Like Rookie of the
It's
Year.
potential.
I wouldn't say Rookie of the Year because I think Marco is going to turn some heads, but I think Jericho's right up there with him. So
It really pisses me off when I see him commenting on Marco's stuff.
who, Jericho?
Chris Jericho should be my friend. I'm super jealous. Of
Just show up to a taping one day like now I'm Marco.
Now you're going to be
he
that
loves
guy
it
now.
because he comes over and we start talking. He's like, "Yeah, well, Chris was. We were at this thing." He calls Chris. I'm like, "Just shut up. I don't want to hear it."
He's flexing on
Do you want to just
Yeah.
do you want to bully him relentlessly at the show, and maybe he'll tell Chris Jericho about it, and then he'll come to like beat us up, and we'll get to meet him.
I think he should do the thing where
Solid
Marco
plan.
goes to whatever and Jason's just the attached friend. You know, like, oh, I didn't know you were going to be at this AEW taping, Marco. I showed up too.
I
Who's
was
your
just
friend
here."
there? This is Chris.
You want to introduce me?
Hi, I'm Jason. I gave him a start.
Yeah.
He wouldn't be here right now.
Joey Janela, who?
Yeah, I'm introducing to Joey. No, man, yeah, I seen him comment on the car when he bought the car, and he's like, "You can tell me thank you later" or something like that. I'm like,
Yeah.
ridiculous. I'll tell you thank you now, Chris.
Me and Marco have the same. Me and Marco have the same car.
Oh, that's
It's not like the exact same car, but you know.
Because his is like
His
new.
is driven by Marco.
Driven by Marco. It actually says that on the driving plate. Driven by
That is-
Marco. Yeah. That's the news and the notes of the week. Breaking news: Jason Wells very jealous of Marco Stunt's relationship with Chris Jericho.
Yes.
Yes, Jason Wells. Only Jason Wells. I'm still cool, Marco. We're friends. I beat you in Smash.
Not me.
That should be the. Oh yeah. So
Hold on to
I'll
that one.
challenge Marco to a game of Smash, and if I win, he has to introduce me to Chris Jericho.
Nice.
So I know we don't do this on this show, but this was the one thing I said. I'll tell you about the one thing I bought this week.
Yeah.
I'm pitching a MFR of the week for CCW.
Okay.
And it's the MFR that busted Gregory Iron's windshield. Like busted his windows out of his car in Chicago.
Yeah.
That guy's an asshole.
What was the situation? Did he steal something or he
Yeah.
just busted it?
He
Okay.
busted
I think he
Wait.
stole his gear, like his gear or his merch or something.
No, it wasn't his gear or anything like that.
No, that was
All I-
Matthew Justice.
That was Matt.
No,
Justice.
no, I
Oh.
remember that happening. But typically, because Joey Janela had his window smashed and all of his gear taken.
Yeah, I don't know if I don't remember anything being stolen particularly, but like, Gregory Iron actually has a new podcast that started like today.
I know. I saw you post about it.
Uh,
You were very positive about his podcast.
well,
Go
he had Johnny Gargano, so it was a fun episode.
I got a shirt signed by Johnny Gargano.
Really?
Yeah.
But if you're on Pro Wrestling Tees, go ahead and buy one of Gregory's shirts. He has a lot of really fun shirts because that'll help him out with that because like he is an independent wrestler through and through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like some asshole busting out your window and costing like $500 to $1,000, that's not something that he can probably swing just because.
I agree.
Because like Gregory Iron's not somewhere that is someone that's signed somewhere. Like he just like he was talking about. He's like, someone busted my window out on like Thursday, and I worked 8 matches between then and now. And it's like, and he did all those drives. Like he went to Canada, busted windows.
Greg.
Which-
Well, at least he's going to Canada.
That's-
It's nice up there. The worst he's going to get is like a maple syrup smell.
Yeah.
So
like if you're on
nothing
Pro
bad
Wrestling
there.
Tees, go ahead and buy one of his shirts. I ended up doing that this week. Like, and I've been around Gregory a couple times, and he's like the nicest human being in the
Yeah,
world.
Greg's
Gregory
awesome.
Iron, friend of CCW.
Oh, he-
worked there many, many times.
Yeah.
Great guy. Had one of our favorite promos of all time.
Yes.
The
Oh,
favorite
God.
interview.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ever.
Where
Yeah.
he's chewing the bubble gum. That was fantastic.
Oh.
That was great.
I'm so glad. Like as jealous as I would have been, like as much as I would have loved to have been in that segment, I would have ruined it. Allie, consummate professional, waited until we said cut to burst out laughing.
Yeah.
It's the one message from Twitter, like one DM from Twitter I will never delete because like it was the first time he was here and we were like, shit, we would really like to get an interview of him. So I was like, screw it, I'll just message him on Twitter. And like very professional, and he was like the nicest human being in the world.
Yeah.
Like replying to me. Like, and there was like, all right, cool, I'll see you at the show. All right, cool, I'll see you there. And I'm like, you are like the perfect human being.
That turned into one of our probably first ever really cringy promos because of
Ace.
language that Ace used. Yeah, and we all kind of went, ooh.
The cripple.
And they're interviewing us cripple. And
Well,
we all kind of
the-
went, ooh.
Yeah, well,
But he also gave us the go ahead for
Wait,
that. Like,
did that offend somebody?
Yeah, it did, and a lot of people like Greg is kind of encourages that because it just kind of gets him over more.
Yeah.
You know,
The
to have that
sympathetic
on his
baby
side.
face.
So
Yeah.
I mean, you know, Ace was a heel. He doesn't really feel that way. So I mean, not like Trent Daniels feels the way he does.
Oh, yeah, because he hates
well, and also
women.
like didn't
Oh, my
hates
God.
women.
Well, you can only be rejected so many times before you get
Well, we
hated.
also had that one fan that didn't like Italians.
Gregory like
I thought
also
he
like
liked
offered to
breadsticks.
talk with the the fan that was upset
Yeah, he did.
because
I
he's
think
just
he
like
did talk
yeah
to
because
him.
he's just like a
Yeah, Greg.
peak human being.
yeah.
If I wasn't moving and dropping so much money, moving's expensive, y'all.
Yes. it
Yeah.
is.
Oh, what?
We all moved this year. Don't act like it's... Yeah, we all moved this year.
So,
I don't want to hear any of y'all talk about how many times you've the frequency of a move, because I will win. I will win.
He might
I've
have-
moved 3 times in the past
Oh, that's
3 or
cute.
4 years.
That's cute.
Haven't I?
Moved twice.
I have moved 3 times
In the last 5 years, to Virginia, back from Virginia, out of my parents' house to the 1-bedroom.
Has that been within 5 years?
Yes.
Are you sure?
I don't
Yes.
think that's right.
No, it
Oh, no, it
is.
No.
Because we've been doing Podzilla for 4
Yeah, 'cause
years.
we became friends right after you came back from Virginia.
It was
So that-
right when I
yeah,
moved back. Yeah, because
Wow.
that was my
Okay.
first
It's
job.
right
Thanks
at
for
5 years,
friends.
buddy.
Yeah. Then
F you, Jason.
to my 1-bedroom, to the 2-bedroom, to the house, to Jackson, to the townhouse, to where I'm at now.
Okay.
Now to the new apartment.
Okay. You win.
I know,
You
and
wanna
I'm going to reaffirm that.
Do you want to talk about Impact real quick?
I know you said you wanted to skip the.
Well, I do
the
want to talk about
recaps.
one thing from Raw, but I wanted to see if you wanted to
No,
mention
I mean,
Impact.
And I got one thing from
Most
Raw, too.
like instead of talking about what happened on Impact this week, I want everybody. I want everybody to watch Tuesday night.
Okay.
Because I like that they're moving to Tuesdays. Well, so it's nice for Impact. It sucks for SmackDown because I hated being like, okay, yeah, so we're gonna recap Impact, and there's a new episode in 2 days, so it feels like it's kind of out of date, which is where we're gonna be at with SmackDown now. So,
We have to change the show to Saturdays.
Are they
Nope.
like? Are they doing SmackDown live?
yeah,
Yeah.
SmackDown's live on Fridays.
Yeah,
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
They're just not calling it SmackDown Live because that's a stupid name.
it is.
But yeah, so instead of talking about what happened last week, I feel like this coming up week is going to be a good like jumping on point for people.
Oh, yeah.
So even if you don't have Access TV, it's on Twitch. If you are listening to this show, you have access to Twitch. So check that out, and then we'll talk about next week's. We'll talk about the premiere on Access next
And
week.
the only thing I wanted to mention from Raw, we actually talked about a little bit earlier in the show, was you talked about the Fiend. And by the way, if you need more of a reason to subscribe to our Patreon, we had a 15-minute discussion before the show with Jason about the Nyla Rose tweet incident. That was fascinating, thought-provoking, and the only way to hear that is to go to patreon.com/Podzilla1985 and donate at least $1 to the cause, and you can catch all of those episodes, all those pre-shows. It was a fantastic pre-show, and I really liked that discussion. I thought it was very good advice, especially for people in the wrestling business. Anyway, on Raw, Bray Wyatt, The Fiend, once again attacking Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman at the end of the show. And I just wanted to ask you your opinion on the final segment where it wasn't the final segment, but it's...
No, it was the end of the show.
That was the end? Okay.
Because the main event was Strowman versus Rollins.
I'm thinking of SmackDown with Sasha Banks. My bad.
Strowman versus Rollins. It's in the middle of the match. It looks like Strowman's got Rollins up on his shoulders, going to hit the running power slam. Fiend music hits. The lights start going out. And Bray locks in the mandible claw on Braun and takes him down. Then after he brings down Braun and seems to have him down, this entire time Rollins is just laid out in the corner. The Fiend starts crawling towards Rollins, and the camera cuts to him, and it's not a great shot because of the way the strobe light's going, but it's literally Rollins just holding on to the bottom rope like he's trying to not get eliminated from the Royal Rumble, screaming in terror. Just Muppet style chicken shit heel Rollins.
Yeah. Worse than that.
shrieking.
Like crying like a child.
And like a similar thing happened last week. But that I feel like I've seen people talk about it, and it kind of gets a pass because last week he was beaten down by the OC and Rude and Ziggler. Like it was a 5-on-1, and then the Fiend comes out. Okay. He's already beaten Strowman, and it wasn't like this was a super dominant showing by Strowman. Like it was just a match. And he still is just like not even trying to defend himself, just like helpless camper against Jason Voorhees. Like he may as well have just been like hitting him in the chest
Throwing
with the bottoms
grapes
of
at
his
him.
fists.
Yeah.
Yeah. What they do with Seth Rollins is either 100% incredible or 100% awful for his character. Like you put him over on Brock Lesnar, who just never hardly loses.
It made
You
him
put
look strong.
over-
Made
Yeah.
him look strong.
I mean, yeah, beat him.
Twice.
Yeah, clean. And then you have him be afraid. There's just so many things that just is not right about it. I didn't enjoy him and Becky. I think that made him look weak. I thought that when he was a champion the first time, and he never won.
He was the chicken shit with security.
Well, he would win
and-
it. He would win at pay-per-views, or he would retain the belt. through
Somehow,
DQ. Yeah.
but it's never anything strong like a clean win. He never did that. They brought him back. He has big wins over Triple H, over Lesnar, a lot of these people, and they make him look so huge. And then they just like, no, you're going to be afraid and cry. You would never. Would you ever see Goldberg when he was in WCW crying
No.
because of that? Or
No.
out of all the times that people went against Undertaker, had they ever held onto the ropes and cried like
No.
that? No. And it just doesn't make a lot, especially a champion.
Yeah.
Would you see Steve Austin doing that?
Oh God, no.
No.
Oh,
With
that
a Rock?
that great picture.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say, did you see the what is it, Botch Spot?
Yeah.
The cartoon that does
Oh.
wrestling cartoons.
Yeah.
And it was if Stone Cold Steve Austin was
Attitude Era
if
and-
Attitude Era Steve Austin was being booked today, and it was like, oh well, if you're gonna fire me, Shane, then I'm gonna open a can of wrongful termination on your ass.
And there's one where he's like Kane standing next to him, and he's in the corner,
Yeah.
hiding, crying, and it's so stupid. Like, I know I'm not a booker. Clearly, I'm not a booker. I don't book wrestling. I booked one wrestling show here at Podzilla 1985. It went horrible. State shut us down. We can't talk about it legally. It was a mistake.
But the flex offenders will return.
The flex offenders will come back. But the one thing that I would never do if you're a champion is you make him look. I mean, he looks like a bitch. Like he looks like a crying bitch. And you can't come back from that. I mean, you can, but that will always be there. You can always find the clip of Seth Rollins crying like a little bitch. And I get the Fiend is scary. The Fiend is supposed to be scary.
Yeah.
But there is a believable scary, and then there's over-the-top cartoon level scary.
If he's not
And
going
that's
to
what this
cry next to the Undertaker, you're not going to cry.
And to be fair, he's not he's not crying. Like there weren't tears shed. It wasn't that
It's
extreme.
fear.
It's fear.
yeah,
He
it's fear.
shrieked. And
Yeah.
if it was a heel, maybe, because heels by
he did
by law
one
are
of my
kind of be cowards.
One of my favorite, like genuinely one of my favorite Seth Rollins moments is it's the close up on his face whenever it's right when Corporate Kane is splitting off of the Authority, and the pyro hits, the music hits, and it's him just go, just like like out of nowhere. It's like I love that, but that fit his character then. Whereas now he's the Beast Slayer.
Yeah.
He's the King Slayer.
and
He
he's like,
should. I don't want him to no sell it. Like I don't want him to be like
Well,
totally not afraid, because then that kind of
yeah, but he's like hiding. He's literally hiding.
him
He's closing his
grabbing
eyes
on the-
like he's trying to.
Yeah.
Balor-
he's covering himself
Unless
on the
they
blanket.
come out
Balor
with a
did it
story.
perfect.
Yeah, Balor did it perfectly. Like, if you go back and watch his match at SummerSlam, Balor did the perfect amount. Like, it looked like Balor was facing Undertaker in '98.
like he was
Like,
open mouthed,
wide
just like,
eyes.
Like, he was
What?
freaked out, but he still, like, he wasn't on the ropes. He wasn't, like, screaming for his life. Like,
Yeah.
he got his neck snapped, which was stupid. But, like,
Maybe that's what Rollins is afraid of.
he's afraid to get
Of
his
being
neck
murdered.
snapped. Yeah. But,
Unless he like something comes out with a deep story about how like he has a huge
He was
fear of
terrorized of
clowns
something,
or something
or
Yeah.
of kids' TV
but that
shows.
also would be bullshit.
Yeah.
For your. So we're gonna tell a story 2 weeks before this match about how the
Universal
Seth Rollins,
champion.
your champion, is scared of the boogeyman.
Yeah.
And what do you do with him at this
well, he's
point?
coming to get you.
Because if you can't have Seth Rollins just beat the Fiend.
Yeah.
Like, one, the Fiend is the hottest thing going, and two, Seth Rollins is like pissing himself when he sees him.
Yeah.
But you also can't have the Fiend beat Seth Rollins because it's so early on.
The only way they're going to get away with it is Braun's going to have to be disqualified, or not Braun, but Bray. and that's the only way they're really going to get out of that match, because if he goes over, they pissed all over Bray.
Which, like, a good DQ is going to be awesome in a Hell in the Cell match.
Well, and that's that's what you were talking about a couple weeks ago when it was announced, is that it's not going to be it's going to be a no contest. Something has to happen that
maybe Braun comes out and destroys the cell.
You better hope Sister Abigail shows up.
Yeah, like something like, or the demon does like interfere somehow.
Yeah.
Like there has to be something that makes it to where
Undertaker.
the match cannot continue. The ring, like what I think it's going to be is, because it's been a while since we've seen it, but like the Fiend is going to put Rollins through the mat, and when that happens, they have to.
We could still win though.
Yeah, but like but that could be a believable. It would suck, and that live crowd is going to riot. But
I would hang him.
Something like
it shouldn't even be a match.
I would hang him like they did Boss Man. Like,
oh god!
And I'm half joking, but I also kind of mean that they need something that's like such a spectacle.
It was Boss Man, not Austin. Never mind.
Yes. But they need such a spectacle that you forget there was a match. You know what I mean? Like something so big, an explosion, something that everyone goes, that, and then forgets that, these guys were wrestling.
See, but again, it's what I talk about all the time. WWE is great at putting on moments. Mm-hmm. They write a show like it's in a vacuum. Mm-hmm. I 100% would agree with that assessment. If there wasn't a show on Monday night, that they then have to, unless Rollins stays on Raw and they do move the Fiend to SmackDown, because then it's like, okay, well, the Fiend just literally made it to where Rollins could not compete. He should be the champion. Like, unless the Fiend, because what
is wrong with me?
What's wrong with me? What's going on?
Yeah.
Do you smell toast?
It's a bad position to put yourself into, because he should not even be in the title picture. He should be demolishing like
Zack Ryder.
Yeah, well, mid-level guys. I mean, you already beat Finn, but like, they're building up Chad Gable. He should go to between two shows and just beat these mid-carders up. Beat the 205 Live guys up.
Legends, keep doing the Legends thing.
Yeah, do that kind of stuff. Build him up there until it's that time. Let him do other things, because there's no way that, I wouldn't say no way, but I'd be surprised if there's any way that he gets out of this where it doesn't piss on his character, because that's what they do. If you just think back sometimes, like, what would happen if things went differently in wrestling? What if they didn't screw up the Nexus thing and and they actually put him over at SummerSlam? What if this guy went over, that guy?
What was in the lockbox?
Yeah.
What if Triple H
would have went over on Undertaker back in the day?
Or if Triple H had actually got the King of the Ring as opposed to Austin because of the curtain call?
Yeah, you just never know how things turn out, and they get lucky sometimes. But sometimes they ruin a lot of good stuff and they have to recover from it. Yeah. I just don't see where putting your hottest guy up against your champion that is a baby face, after he lost the title, he didn't even have it very long until Brock beat him.
Because he cashed in the Money in the Bank.
And then he...
Oh, God, which was it? TLC?
Maybe.
Oh, no. It wasn't TLC. Brock won Money in the Bank. He lost it at Extreme Rules, because that was the mixed match.
Oh yeah,
and then he won it back at SummerSlam.
Title changes that quickly never make any sense to me. Mm-hmm. Like, you can do stuff and if it makes sense storyline wise, but you can't go back to back to back to back. Right. Going
trading titles.
Yeah, it doesn't make a strong champion. I think they've done, for Seth Rollins to claim he's the best wrestler in the world. Is kind of funny, but it's kind of one of those things. Your company's not proving it either, by the way, the position they're putting you in.
One thing that I always heard, and then we're going to get to CCW after this, but one thing that I always heard from guys like Austin, and Brandon's told me this, was that, what?
I got one thing.
Okay. Yeah, sorry. I didn't mean to ignore you there. But before I lose the thought. But they always told me stuff like, you don't have to say yes to everything. And they told you this before. You don't have to agree to everything.
Yeah.
So if they're pitching this to Seth Rollins and they say, okay, you're the champion, we built this around you, like they've built him up as important, even though it hasn't always landed correctly, you're going to hide in the corner and scream and cry like a baby. Do you think Seth Rollins should go, I don't think that's a good idea?
I think what you're talking about with me, and that is...
Well, that was taking moves.
Yeah, about to say mine is...
Oh, so I got a perfect example.
I'm going to say it's not the perfect example because the amount of money that Seth makes to not say no.
Okay, well that's true.
And also,
have you
like,
ever heard the Dean Ambrose interview that he did?
we've talked about that.
Well, he would say no, and then he would get.
It's still going to be Vince's way, no matter
he's
what.
Going to get a passive. He's going to get a passive aggressive note, not from Vince, from somebody else saying Dean needs to stop complaining about his lines.
And it's also worth noting that it may not have been a direct order from Vince to be like, "Hey, look like you're about to pee your pants."
You think
that
Seth
might have
did
just
that?
it might have just it could have easily just been because Seth
that's
is
a Vince thing.
I mean, I think it's worth at least
terrified.
It's at least worth mentioning, like, hey, yeah, you're supposed to act terrified, but how cartoonish it came off is very Seth Rollins.
You think that was his interpretation of act terrified?
Right? Like it may have
didn't do
looked
him
worse
any
than it
favors.
was because it was just a combination of, hey, you have to act scared, and okay, well, this is how I'm going to act scared.
So true story, and then Dalton, I'm gonna swing it to you. Of Billy Hills, whenever we did the feud where I blinded him with the aerosol can or whatever, he came to me. He's like, we need to figure out a way to build this up and escalate it more and more. How would you feel about if like I basically put a gun to you and you peed on yourself? He wanted me to pee on myself, that I was so scared. And I think Jason will say there are very few things that you've pitched me that I've said I don't want to do that. I can't think of anything you've ever told me. Hey, I want you to do this, and I go, no, I don't want to do that. Yeah. And the guys too, when we're planning out matches, and they go, hey, I want to kick you off the rope or something like that. I'll go, yeah, okay. If I can do it, I will do it. Mm-hmm. This is the one thing that I said, no, I'm not going to pee on myself because I get that the crowd would pop, but at the same time, how much would that bury me?
First of all, if you think the peeing on yourself is the worst thing that comes with that, nothing good comes from using a gun in anything in wrestling.
He also wanted to blow up a car.
No, it's terrible. Like, we've hit people with cars before and assaulted them that way, but we would never use the gun thing. I mean, I wouldn't have let that happen. But
I forgot about the truck.
I mean, I'm cool with you peeing on yourself for whatever reason. Like, if he was trying to hold you over the balcony and you pissed yourself, that would be kind of funny. But
it sure would.
Don't do it in a live crowd. Somebody might get hit in the head.
Yeah.
I had to explain to Billy that Billy's an established star and that I'm, greener than Kermit. So me peeing on myself almost automatically, I feel like that would really hurt me in the future. That's the guy that pissed himself.
Yeah.
Some people
Drake Maverick.
Some people never come back from pee scandals. I think we all know who I'm talking about.
R. Kelly.
R. Kelly.
Vince did it, and he was okay afterwards.
That's true. And with a gun.
Yes.
With a gun.
It was a fake one.
Well, I would hope that Billy was going to
Billy don't have fake guns. That's what I was telling you. It was a crazy idea.
Oh, my God. All right, Dalton, what do you got?
Everything they have done with Rey Mysterio in the last 3 months have been ridiculously stupid. Like, every week I see the Rey Mysterio thing, I'm like, this is dumb. And nobody in that whole story is a good enough actor to get this to where I'm even like, all right, this is fine. Like, I love Rey Mysterio. One of the greatest athletes of like ever. But I want to retire. And then your giant ass son says, no, Dad, you said we would team one time together. And he's like, all right, I'm going to stick in it. I'm going to do this for my son. And then you don't see Dominic for like 4 weeks. And it's just like, this is dumb. All right, I'm staying in for Dominic. Now I'm number one contender to the Universal title, but I really don't want to be here. Like, it is so stupid.
And Dominic's going to turn on him,
I mean,
right?
that's not what the story was from Monday. That's a very loose interpretation of a thing that you already don't like.
All right.
It was
I'm doing this for my son.
I lost the fire, but doing this for my son reminded me of why I'm doing this. Is much different than what you just pitched.
And let me reiterate.
It's not great, but
nobody in this storyline is a good enough actor to get that over.
Honestly, if it wasn't for the interview where he dedicated the match to his son, that would have been amazing. Like, it was just that one thing they could have left out that would have been like, okay, I have no idea what's going to happen.
Where's this going? It's got to be Dominic, right? Like, Dominic's got to like turn heel and attack his father.
Not before the Fiend
kills Rey next week.
Yeah, kills Rey on the season premiere of Raw.
Is he fighting Rey next week?
No, it's Universal. He's the number one contender for the Universal. It's Rey versus Seth Rollins in the main event of the season premiere of Raw. So the Fiend's going to come in and kill Rey. They're not going to put the belt on Rey. The Fiend's going to kill him.
Oh my God!
Although it would be a good opportunity to have Seth get a decisive win to like remind everybody that he is, the reason he's a champion.
But the Fiend can kill somebody, so they're gonna go.
And
that
he can do
route.
it. I mean, he can.
Rey,
but
but Rey's won one match and
but Rey Mysterio's a name that it doesn't. I don't think people care about that.
They've done away with the name thing.
Let me blow your minds real quick. The Fiend is Dominic.
Yeah, you can go straight to hell. All right,
see you in hell.
Bray Wyatt is Bray Wyatt on the TV show and all that. That's him. The Fiend is somebody completely different, and it's Dominic.
I also don't know how big his son
So
actually
you've been
is.
talking to Vince Russo.
Yeah, we've hung out, bro.
That's
You've been tweeting at him too much.
Yeah. That was
But
conversation.
yeah, no, we can
Bro,
move
I
on to
swear,
CCW.
I swear to God, bro.
Bro.
It's just like anytime I see Rey Mysterio in a backstage segment in the last like 2 months, I've been like, this is stupid.
Well,
Is it better
I really
or worse
hate
than
what-
him being called Nacho Libre at a
Oh, Jesus Christ.
what was it, a baseball game?
Baseball game on Fox, because I think
Yeah.
it was cross promotion, just like they had Braun Strowman on there. And who went after Braun Strowman on Fox?
Some pencil neck geek.
Keith Olbermann.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he gonna die.
Keith Olbermann, who I used to really like, and then he started that anti-Trump show, and then he quit because he's like, this was 2 years ago. He said, we finally got him. Trump's done. I don't have to do the show anymore.
Wah,
2
wah,
years
wah,
later,
wah.
where the hell is Keith Olbermann?
He should have just stayed at Sports Center. Yeah, I really like that's some of the stuff that they do. But Rey Mysterio it's kind of sad because they should have treated him, like how they do Orton.
Mm-hmm.
He should be on that same level. But all they do is like just smash him, let him get a win.
Mhm.
Oh, surprise! He's a
He's a
United
legend.
States champion.
Yeah.
Oh, smash him, smash him,
4
smash
months
him.
ago,
He's a
he
number
was
one
having
contender.
4 or 5 months ago, he was having an amazing series of matches with Andrade.
Mhm.
Like those matches were fantastic.
We thought he was going to have that fantastic match with Samoa Joe. Remember?
And then Joe just
And just
murdered
crushed him.
Yeah, like it's one of those things. Like, and I love Rey Mysterio, and it's not that I.
But wasn't he hurt?
I think he had to take a little bit of time off. Like,
Not
I
sure.
think, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just one of those things where it's just like I don't care about him anymore.
Did you read the tweets about him from Andrade and Kalisto?
Uh-uh.
So Kalisto I think he tweeted Ray and congratulated him or whatever, and then Andrade tweeted back at Kalisto and said, "You should be congratulating me for like putting him on the show or something like that." And I think it was Kalisto that tweeted
about
back.
Flair.
What's that?
About Flair.
Yeah, said the
that's
only reason
Kalisto.
you're where you are is because you walk with a flare. And then Charlotte Flair attacked and said, he's pretty. There's a reason they put you under a mask. And then someone said someone needs to remind Charlotte she's a face. And she says who? Love it. All right, CCW, Cape Championship Wrestling.
Oh.
Best of the Best 4 is this weekend. Best of the
is.
Best has a special place in all of our hearts because the first Best of the Best was, if I remember correctly, named after Austin Lane.
Yep.
This was kind of his show where I think he wrestled Brandon, and if he won, he would become the number one contender, and if Brandon won, he became Best of the
It
Best,
was-
which is why they had the
Yeah.
name, right?
It was the no disqualification match
With Psycho.
With Psycho.
Psycho.
Yeah. R.I.P.
And then last year's Best of the Best, Dalton made his wrestling debut, which was a great match, and it was a great moment for Dalton. This year, we've got a huge show.
Yeah.
The first ever time we've done fan voting on the
Yeah.
matches, and that was really fun. That was really cool.
Yeah.
I actually don't have the card because I went to the website to look at it, and they don't have it on there because they were waiting for the fan voting. But I think I got it off the top of my head. So, you got it there?
I got it right here.
9 matches.
9.
9 matches.
It's a big event.
It is a big
Thank
event.
you. All right. Starting from the top to the bottom. Tag team match. It's going to be the LA Hustlers versus Riser and Logan Stunt. That's going to be really good.
Yep.
And this is with all of the decisions already made.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say what the stipulations were. This is what they
Yeah.
are. That one's gonna be fun. Hustlers are always a great time. Riser got a huge reaction last month at Cage Chaos, and Logan Stunt, of course, is Logan Stunt, so he's gonna get a huge reaction. But that's a fun team.
Yeah.
One of the things that I like doing about not only commentary but like doing CCW live is I actually just get to like say my opinion of people and like legit like if Logan and Riser have chemistry together, I could see that being a team.
That's a
like
good
going
team, yeah.
forward.
Yeah, I think so too. I think Riser has, only seen him one time in the ring, but he's got
Tremendous upside.
Yeah.
Oh, he's-
definitely.
He could have a good
Like
career
he's somebody that I see all the time.
Yeah.
And like he is.
because he's a regular at Stride.
Yeah, and I like there was some training overlap with us too, and like he is ignorantly good.
Yeah.
and is only gonna get better. Like
Very polite, like
Yes,
backstage, very
sweetheart,
polite.
yeah, like-
which I really like.
Well, especially and we have opportunities to put him in the ring with different guys now. It's one of those things that same thing about we'll get to it, but Venom, Courtney,
Mhm.
getting to put him in the ring with guys and develop, and that's one fun thing. So let them show what they can do against different guys. So both of them have really bright futures, and Logan's already out doing stuff. So,
And then, of course, the Hustlers, legitimately one of the most decorated tag teams in wrestling, locally, nationally, whatever. Asa, you said, and I think you're right, they have like 4 different belts right now.
Is at least 3.
Yeah.
There might be a 4th. It wouldn't surprise me if they had a 4th, but
When
If
you
they
guys
showed up with it.
when you did the tag team turmoil tournament, the very first one of the ones I remember people kept asking for was the Hustlers. Are you guys gonna have the Hustlers there? You're gonna have the Hustlers there, and they have been a mainstay in CCW since then.
yeah. Hustlers have all, like, personally, Bradley and Lamont have always been really good to me. When I've ran shows in Mississippi or Arkansas up here, like, they would come. All the Ashland shows, they would come. So they're one of those. They've earned a spot here. They talk a lot, so they get a lot of trash like pulled back to them. Like people going back and forth with them, but
They're good at it.
I remember asking Billy, because whenever we were still, like, before we were friends with like Billy and Brandon and all of them, when we were still just in the front row, the first time that they came, they made a beeline for us. And so I remember, like, months later, I asked Billy, I was like, so did you guys like tell them, like, oh, if you're wanting interaction, it's that corner, go there. And he was like, nope, they watch the crowds and they see who will go with it, because they're just that they've been doing this so long, they know where to go. And
one of the cringiest interactions we've ever had with a wrestler, I won't repeat what was said.
Was that Bradley?
no, it wasn't that. It wasn't even that bad. If it's what I was thinking about.
Is it Uncle Tom?
It's the Uncle Tom.
No, that was amazing, because they come to us and we're booing them and they're like, oh no, always bet on black. Always bet on black. Black
Hollis
always
is
wins.
black.
And one of the Hollis was on the opposite team, and we're like, Hollis is black. Hollis is the biggest Uncle Tom I ever seen.
Jeez.
And he's like, oh my, and it killed us. We were like, we just started.
But knowing Bradley the way we do
Now,
now, it's like, oh, that's super on brand.
Yeah, that is definitely them. I've after we get wrapped up here, I'll show you. I think I have the video that they sent to me that they did their promo.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to need to see this.
For this show?
No, not for this one. It was a while back, but I'll just have to show you that one.
Oh, that
but
scares me.
Also, I will say too, Logan is someone that I really enjoy seeing back, just because of like I really feel like he's coming into his own.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing. Like, I'm just repeating myself from CCW Live, but it's my actual opinion of, I like that he is differentiating himself from Marco.
And Logan,
they have wildly different styles, and Logan knows what his strengths are, and he plays to those.
And on a personal level, Logan has always been a good friend of ours.
Yeah.
And he hugs us at every show, hang out with him.
That entire family is just magic.
They really are. Every single one of them. I love them to
They're
death.
actively trying to get me to move to Mississippi.
You should go.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
You
fight
should go.
Dwindle.
No, Dalton should definitely go. He won't be there long. They'll kick him out. And he'll be back. Maybe he'll get a little better. All right. We got the Battle Royal. Now, the Battle Royal, there are a lot of people in this match. They haven't been announced. Is it safe to assume, how many people are in the Battle Royal, first off?
oh, I don't even know.
You don't even know
Who
yet?
shows
Just
up?
who shows up? People going to be doing double duty?
No, not really. No, I don't think there will be any double duty there.
So basically, a lot of the people that
I like how
didn't get
unconfident
picked-
you sound in that, though, because
Well, I mean, to be honest, I really don't know who's all going to be in the battle royal. Just pretty much, I know Casey's Finest is going to be
the
there.
people that didn't get picked for the other matches.
Yeah, exactly.
Basically.
They're going to be in there, and then of course we got the big Russian Norman's going to be in there.
Norman
Leo D.
Meklikov, yeah.
that's an announcement.
Met him at
That's a
HCW.
PW exclusive, ladies and
I met him in
gentlemen.
Arkansas. He's a sweethart.
He is he's very Russian.
I'm excited to meet him, because
He's
I hear
extremely Russian.
between you and Billy, like, I'm really excited to meet him.
Yeah,
He seems like a super cool dude.
yeah, and he plays his gimmick really well.
I like
the Russian gimmick is really
when we were at
over.
when we were at HCW, he was one of the standouts.
Yeah.
Of just like, oh, okay.
He was one of the guys that we saw that were like.
So he has a Missouri
he's-
license?
Yeah. Yeah. We got, and the winner of the Battle Royal fights Billy Hills.
Yes.
Billy and this person, whoever they may be, is going to be in a coal miner's glove match, which
I called it whenever they announced it.
I knew
was
it
like,
because-
it has to be on a poll.
the weirdest part about that and all the fan voting, I think, was that Seishin versus Autumn Marie, when that was still happening, also had a coal miner's glove match, and I was like, what?
It's less work we have to do with setup if we.
Billy's
a weird one.
Billy's a farmer, not a coal miner.
It should have been a
Doesn't make any more sense
Allie,
there.
It should have been a salmon on a pole match
A loaded salmon.
because he's a salmon
He
farmer.
is a salmon farmer.
Wow, that would have been pretty cool.
A little bit of trivia. like a frozen
Maybe that's
fish.
what it's loaded with, is like frozen salmon fillets.
It should have been a frozen fish, but it has a time limit because after a time that fish is going to thaw and it's no longer as dangerous as it was.
It's even more dangerous because then you get salmonella.
Ooh, slow death.
Then you start pooping yourself.
Okay. Justin, the Juice Smart versus
Pooping
Dangerous
yourself.
96. It's mentor versus protege, and this one is going to be a lumberjack match. You announced it on the CCW Live tonight. No House 100 members to back up Justin. There's a rift there. I talked to Mr. 100 earlier. He said that until Justin takes care of business with Donnie, the doors are closed. So this is going to be just Justin and Donnie going at it. And in all seriousness, like that is a match I want to see. So I'm kind of sad I'm not one of the lumberjacks because I have no doubt they're going to kick the shit out of each other.
It's going to be good.
Yeah. That's going to be hard hitting.
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, everybody's been really like looking forward to that one for a long time. I know that they want to have matches. When was it? I guess Donnie. Was it last show that he wasn't able to make?
Yeah, because he was
He
graduating.
got his doctorate.
Yeah. That's a good reason to skip
Middle
WC
finger. I asked him if he
CCW a
could
little
skip,
bit.
and he was like, "No, they said they won't give it to me." And I'm like, "That's not how that works."
Doctor of the backbreaker.
Yeah, it's. I'm excited. Whenever you get a guy that trained another guy and they get in there, it's so familiar and really so fluid. And you are a sick. What are you looking at me like that for when I say fluent?
Fluid?
Fluent.
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 Fluid.
Fluid.
Okay.
Not fluid. What? Fluent.
Fluent is like, I don't know.
All right,
I don't know. I'm lost.
You're
now,
good.
honestly.
It's like when you just flow.
That's fluid.
That's
That's
fluid.
fluid.
No,
Like
fluid's
water's a fluid.
No,
and it
fluid's on my
flows.
lungs. This is fluent.
I think you need to get your lungs checked out.
Anyway, plus they're both veterans. Like I know Justin is kind
Very
of Justin is also a veteran. Like Justin is a teacher, Donnie is a teacher. They're both incredible and good at what they do. Donnie is a sweetheart. Justin is a great guy, biggest dick in the world, but in a fun way.
When he wants to be.
Yeah, he can turn it on. And it's not like a fun heel like Billy. He legitimately makes you want to like punch him in the mouth.
You want to
sometimes.
see him get his.
You do. Justin is great. I am a huge fan of Justin Smart. We got Joey O'Reilly and Venom versus I almost said Dexter Barbed Wire. That's two different people.
That's the tag team.
That's Brandon Barbed Wire and Dexter Roswell.
Oh, Dexter Barbecue. That's cool.
You know they're gone out of Jackson?
Really?
Yeah, there's a Mexican place in there now.
Yeah, they moved down the road, I think.
Sugar Fire ran them out.
Well, that would have been Cape then.
I miss branding
Nope.
iron.
They leave.
Everywhere.
It's worth driving to Cape.
Oh yeah, 15 minutes.
I mean,
I
you have to
still haven't
drive.
had
You live in
Sugar Fire,
Jackson.
and I
You have to
want it
drive
so
to Cape
bad.
anyway.
You
for
should.
everything.
I want it so
You should
bad. And now I can't because of Osby.
Oh well, you can cheat every once.
Damn Osby.
So,
Being a role model, achieving his goals.
yeah, exactly.
Monster.
Exactly.
You monster.
How can you be skinny now? It's not fair.
Taking care of yourself.
Oh, look at me
Big shot.
extending my lifespan and
Being healthy, making good choices for my
I have
life.
a child.
So, what's that tag team match?
Oh, it's Joey and Venom versus.
No, let's go back to shitting on Osby for improving his life.
This is the most hateful shit in the world. This is the player haters ball right now.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Hey.
Sorry, Allie, you didn't get that reference.
Oh, she did. I've been showing her
She
Chappelle
just
show
didn't want to
lately.
contribute because
I showed her today. I showed her the Great New York Boobs one, and we tried
Oh,
to figure out what
Great New
the
York
point of that
boobs.
was.
That's
Anyway,
so great.
Joey and Venom versus Barbed Wire and Dexter. You talked earlier about Venom, like being able to put guys like that, because Courtney's really new. What?
just you said great New York boobs makes me think of, we got boobs in California.
No.
Yes!
Let's
The
talk
greatest
about
boobs
Courtney.
in the world.
Jesus.
Anyway,
Venom, very good. Yeah, he.
are you worried about the Marvel lawsuit?
Am I?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
I got friends in DC. We should be fine. One of the drawers from DC is friends.
For the drawers. Jesus Christ.
I mean, I think I'm wearing Batman underwear.
Why are you checking right now?
You didn't have to pull them out. Like I can clearly see them when you just look down.
Yeah. it's just-
You see how fluent that was?
Yeah, it was very fluent.
Jesus
Christ.
Venom.
That's gonna
is
be a good
really
match.
good.
Yeah, Courtney's been tearing it up. He's been tearing it up. He's been very, very popular.
He's on the road. He's doing stuff, and he's a local guy. Like,
Yeah, he's served me pizza many times at Little Caesars.
yeah,
To be fair,
he's got a bright future ahead of him if he just keeps if he's safe. And that's the thing I worry about the most because
with those high flyers.
well, just a lot of the young guys, it's really easy to, you go into different places and veterans want you to do stuff, and then you end up getting injured, and it can just go downhill from there. So as long as he keeps himself safe, he has a bright future, and he's doing his thing, and people love him here.
He's also another guy that every time I see him, he just runs up and hugs me, and we shoot the breeze a little bit, and he's just incredibly nice. There's a picture that I took of him 2 years ago, maybe even longer than that, where he's holding the CCW belt. And this is back when he was like 16, 17.
Yeah.
And he's like, one of these days I'm going to fight for this. And I'm like, I took the picture, and then sure enough, like years later, look at him. He's on his way. That's very, very cool to see.
All four of the guys in this match, like I'm a real big fan of.
Yeah, they're all great.
Joey O'Reilly, from the first time we saw him at Stride,
Yeah.
I was like immediately just like, okay, fan of this guy. Just like from minute one. Same thing with Brandon. Like first time I saw Brandon, the intensity that he had, because our first show was the second CCW show, so we didn't see him we never saw him as come out as the good guy and then turn heel. He was already just a full on dick.
I'll never forget that first show, Allie. Do you remember Brandon? Because it was a new thing. A lot of people didn't know what was going on. It was a brand new thing. And Brandon's trying to get crowd support, and he looks over at me and Allie and Tanner. We're on the side, and he goes like, "Hey, come on, clap for me a little bit, guys." And he started cheering. He was so funny. Yeah. And then the moment he turned heel, the crowd hated him. Like that quickly. Brandon, what I love about Brandon is that I can talk to him. We don't talk about wrestling a lot. Whenever I talk to all my wrestling friends, it's usually about wrestling. But Brandon and I just talk about weird things, random things. Brandon's just a good guy. He's a friend. Dexter, of course, is one of our most beloved. Precious Cargo. We've loved him since Stride again. But I think he's really coming to his own in CCW. Yeah. Where I like his character over there, the kind of smarmy, almost politician. But when he came over the first time, he did well. When he came back with Espy, like,
it's a whole new level.
Edge to his character, and I love it. I think he is one of the best. He won the fan voting, and it was almost a landslide for Dexter Roswell. So many of those votes were close, like very, very close. Oh yeah, but Dexter was just super over. Yeah. So that was cool. That's gonna be a great match. And then can we announce this match, or is this something we can talk about, or is this
which one? The right there? Yeah,
we can. Yeah. Okay, so officially, Trent Daniels, trending Trent Daniels is going to be fighting Seishin.
Oh, you must have missed CCW Live where we announced that.
I was there was parts of it where I had to shut RV up. True story. Okay. There was parts where he would keep talking and I would have to like shut him down, and there was once where he started stomping he was trying to stomp Trent's foot while you guys are talking, and I've turned into Mama Bear. I looked over and I was like, shut up.
It was funny.
So I may have legitimately missed that. But yeah, Trent is going to fight Seishin. This is going to be a lot of fun because Trent's another guy. He's very new. He's learning the ropes. He's had a crash course in exposure in the past 2 weeks, where he went from kind of doing his own thing and getting on when he could to all of a sudden thrust in the spotlight. Here's your thing. You need to get this over. And he's done a good job with it.
Yeah, he's done a pretty good job. I mean, it's a work in progress, and he'll learn it. Sometimes you just gotta throw guys into the deep end and
sink or swim,
and give them as much help and coaching as you can. But they'll end up making their own decisions in the end and doing what they can with the character. But I think it's a good opportunity. And I think it's really well. He the only thing I didn't like is he was supposed to use I think Brandon gave him a line to use about if he wins the women's title, he's going to take the WO off of it and just make the men's title out of it. I didn't remember him hearing that, but
that's probably part of the nervousness of it.
Yeah, because, you could forget stuff.
So it's extremely easy. Yeah. Allie points to her because on CCW Live, and points to me for coming up with the line that she should call him a bitch, and she did, and it was like the chat room exploded. I'm not kidding. Allie was already popular, and then she just got like, congratulations.
Thanks.
Congratulations. We got Hollis versus Rey Fury. Just that. And that's going to be a fantastic match because Hollis is amazing. Rey Fury is amazing. Yeah. Unfortunately, Dalton was in the voting, but he got hurt. Your shoulders kind of rubbed the wrong way up there, I see.
You kind of ran into your car, which is weird.
Yeah, I ran into my car.
You got trunked.
Did you not run into your car?
It was parked.
You
ran into a parked car, dog.
Yeah.
You idiot.
Wow, it came out of nowhere.
Let's not stay in character for the show. Fuck y'all. Fuck you guys.
Hollis is one of our absolute favorites. Ray Fury has been here once before and killed it. Did a fantastic job.
Him and Joey O'Reilly.
They had a great
He has
match.
an aura to him
He does.
that's really cool, and like it's something about we haven't had very many masked wrestlers at all. I don't think
Just him and Blaster.
Seishin.
Yeah,
And Seishin.
yeah, that's really been it.
Who jumping back to that, like the first time I remember we saw, or I don't know if you were up there, but like we saw her at Glory Pro.
Tootie.
Yeah. And
I first
I was
saw
immediately
her
impressed with her.
when you brought in it was her and
Savannah?
Yeah, it was her and was it her and Sarah versus it was her and Marnie.
Her and Marnie versus Savannah and Sarah.
And they're both great. Savannah and Tootie are both incredible. Tootie is a big anime fan. Although she's a big Sailor Moon fan, and then I gave her a Sailor Moon reference when I saw her once, and she was like, "What?" And I had to tell her what it was. She was like, "Oh yeah." She big time me.
No.
That's why they call her big time.
That's why Austin calls her big time.
Everyone calls her big time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you ask Austin, everybody does.
It's infuriating. Ray Fury, the King of Yeet, going to be back. That's going to be a hot match. We got Austin versus, speaking of Austin versus Ace Hawkins versus Blake Christian, which I was talking to Austin about it because, of course, Austin messages me about this stuff all the time. God bless him. He's fantastic. And I told him, and I mean this, that I think this is match of the year.
This
is very much match of the year for me. And just looking at it on paper.
This and Jackson and Otis, I think, are going to be the two that are you need to be there live for that.
Yeah.
Like Hollis and Ray, I have every confidence that that's going to be a phenomenal match. Like this, like CCW does a great job, and I'm not just saying this because you're sitting there. Like even if
we say this when you're not here.
Yeah, because I mean we give our honest opinion whenever we talk about CCW on this show, at least. Yeah. Of like
I've gotten in trouble before for criticizing it back in the old days.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
By who?
Them.
Oh, okay.
Mostly Dalton.
Oh.
No, because like my stance has always been like, no, we need to be honest about it because like if like and yeah, maybe not necessarily like if there is something bad, we don't necessarily need to harp on it.
But we
because
don't shit
that's not
on
helpful.
anything.
Yeah, but we're
unless
not gonna,
it's like truly offensive.
Which there hasn't been with CCW at least. But like no, like the cards are always very like strong. Yeah. Like there's never a match that I look at and I'm like, well, all right. Like it's if anything it's like okay, like let's see what can happen. So like this card is stacked, but
it is.
But the true standouts to me at least are for what's advertised is Jackson Otis and this triple threat.
Yeah.
I'm super excited about it. Blake is blowing up, and he's probably going to be one of those guys that you're going to see doing stuff at AEW eventually or somewhere. He's going to be signed. He's super talented, but that's not discounting.
That can be said about anybody on this show.
Yeah, Ace and Austin are the same way. Just they're. Blake is out there doing stuff, traveling. Ace is a great worker, and I think that he needs to just be putting those matches. I mean, probably my crown jewel when all this is said and done would probably be the booking of him and Jackson and the payoff for it. Those guys went out there and delivered, and it was a lot of me trying to win people over to believe in me, and I knew they could execute it, and they did. And boy, it probably still stands out as one of the. I have lots of great moments, but matches, that's one of the best ones. I mean, you and Dalton, y'all's thing you did, the dick flip that you didn't know you were going to take earlier in the day, me taking you down to Tennessee to take hip tosses.
So many hip
I
tosses.
remember thinking that. I was like, why? And like, I didn't say it to Shannon at all, but whenever he said, he was like, yeah, so I'm taking a hip toss from Marco. And I was like, why the fuck are you taking a hip toss from Marco?
And Logan.
Oh, yeah.
It was a
Logan.
dumb one.
Because Logan was my team partner at the time. And, I was just like, why? And then whenever I saw Joey Ryan, I was like, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah, Justin.
Yeah, whenever he was like, so Joey Ryan's here, I was like, oh, that's why you took so many hip tosses.
Yeah, and Justin Smart the day before when we were just getting a little practice in, he's like, hey, Shannon, try to dick flip.
Like,
you want to take a dick flip?
Let me give you a dick flip.
Everyone takes
a dick flip. He tried to get me to do it, and I was like, no, because I
refuse.
Yeah, because I understand my body, and I cannot just flip forward and land on my back. I will face plant.
You'd be surprised.
No, I wouldn't be.
He says that, but I'm like, you're talking to, like, I'm 6'2", 497 pounds, and 74 years old at this point, and... if I can do it, you can do it. I have faith that you can do it. I really do.
I'm good.
But you're good. That's fine too. Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
That was cool.
I put it on my Facebook the other day, and I didn't mean it. I think people took it as a negative way, that me of like complaining about it. No, I was actually proud of that. Like when people ask me how my year is, I got dick flipped by Joey Ryan, and in one night, dick flipped by Joey Ryan, forced into the ring by Animal to wrestle my best friend. it was amazing. Anyway, last match of the night, Jackson Crowley versus Otis Crowley, championship match. This is going to be a dog collar match, which I've never seen a dog collar match in person. So this,
Yes, you have.
Yeah.
You literally saw one this year.
at Stride. That's
Yeah.
right. I forgot.
I will say this match makes, because I think this match has the potential to be match of the night as well, or match of the year candidate even. I'm only nervous because of how hard Jackson and Otis go at each other.
Yes.
And
Otis does not have a 2 through 9. It's
Yeah,
1 or 10.
and I don't even think he has a 1.
Yeah.
I'm this is the one that I'm concerned about the commission.
Thank God this is the main event.
Yeah. But as long as everybody stays healthy and all of their insides stay inside.
Oh, because
this is going to be
There's
phenomenal.
no promises of that.
No,
First of all, because
I'm aware.
Okay, so here's the thing, and okay,
I'm not doing a bit.
I started out with Jonathan in wrestling, going and watching him wrestle when he was just starting out in Arkansas.
Right.
And I would ride 3 hours to watch it, and it was cool. And I got introduced to it, and that's where I met Austin and a couple more. But me and Jonathan have a long relationship with each other, probably longer than anybody else that I've been friends with. But him and Josh Otis are really pew, pew, are interesting. I'm shooting, baby.
Shooting from the hip.
Shooting. Him and Josh, Jonathan and Josh.
There you go.
They have a crazy relationship, and this is like completely legit, where they can love each other, but they fight and hate each other so much, and they get it on each other's nerves so much that when they get in the ring, it's
legit.
It's a lot more physical than a lot of stuff you're gonna see, because they're really throwing stuff, stuff like, man, you remember at my 12th birthday party when you did the bam, like
That was the first punch of the last match.
that could have
Busted
been
them open immediately.
and I have a longer relationship with Jonathan just because I've been around him longer, and but I've known Josh just as long, and those two together, I knew this program was supposed to happen close to a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago. This was supposed to happen, and it just didn't work out. And now it's coming again, and I think it's going to be incredible. I'm thinking it's going to go down as one of the hardest hitting feuds we've ever had here. And brother versus brother, legit brother versus brother,
It's a good story.
You can't teach that. Like that.
I wish it in the show, right, on that one.
It's a good story. We're going to keep going. Keep rolling.
Jesus.
He's always going to add his 2 cents.
Don't let him tell you how to do the show.
Yeah. At least when you give your 2 cents, you're not overcharging. Thank you.
Yeah, Otis and Jackson are both incredible, and
You can't be mad at me for thinking what he said was funny when you're laughing at it.
Dicks.
Be a better human, and then we don't have such an easy target.
Learn to take criticism.
Allie,
What?
anything to add?
Can you call him a bitch?
No,
She agrees with him.
I choose when this happens.
It's not a. This
Her
isn't
word, her choice.
This isn't. This is a Monday Night Raw where you just throw it in for impact.
Yeah.
Like everyone says it, then it's not special anymore.
That's true.
That's
true.
you are kind of being a little bitch right now, Dalton.
Oh, fuck you.
So, hey, language.
I've said it 3 times.
So that's the card.
He
That's
also
this
said
Saturday. Best of the best four. Cape Championship Wrestling. This is going to be in Charleston. You can find all the info on Facebook, obviously. CapeWrestling.com. Tickets, are they still available online or just at the door?
By the time they're listening to this, probably not.
Okay.
Unless you're listening to it right when we put it up Wednesday night. But they end 8 in the morning Thursday morning.
I think it's something like that.
8. It's
8 or 10.
It might be 10, but I'm pretty sure it's 8. You can go to CapeWrestling.com and try to get tickets. If not, then
At the door.
you can get tickets at the door. Doors open at 6.
Yeah.
Saturday, September 28th.
This Saturday.
This Saturday.
This coming Saturday. But if you're listening to it, after the fact, don't.
Oh, yeah.
If you're listening, if you're
September
listening-
28th.
if you're tuning in
Charleston.
Monday,
Yeah.
Saturday, September 28th, Charleston High School, best of the best 4.
Yeah.
We're in for an exciting 3 or 4 shows left. We have this one, then we're which if you come and get tickets at the door, it's not like you're going to get a bad seat.
There's never a bad seat.
That I literally, that's probably the second favorite place we've ever been and done a show at.
What's your first?
Or the arena.
The arena building.
Yeah.
CCW arena.
Yeah, the arena's number one, and that's number two. I love the entrances. I love how the girls have their own locker room, the guys have theirs. It's really cool. So you have that. Then you're going to German Days, the Red Devil's Revenge.
12th.
The 12th of October.
Yep.
$5 to get in, and hopefully the rain stays away like it did the first show that we did. And
Because those outdoor shows are fun.
it's so much fun.
They're fun.
And it's one of those where I technically doesn't have to go like storyline. I think already that I've got set up, it's going to be Jackson versus
That was exclusive.
yeah,
That's exclusive info.
I think the main event's going to be Jackson versus Brandon Barbwire. So it's going to be fun. They've never wrestled one-on-one as many years as we've known each
So you
other.
mean not just CCW? They've never wrestled one.
Never wrestled. I mean,
Like Sin has never wrestled Brandon Barbwire.
No.
Wow.
The thing that come closest was me and Brandon went down to Mississippi and we did a handicap match, me and him versus Jackson. And that's the closest, or Sin at the time, that's the closest we came to actually having a match with them one-on-one. And I mean, Brandon actually had a part in training Jonathan when he started. So that's how long they've known each other.
So that's incredible.
Yeah, so that's going to be really fun. And then I think we can announce that Hardcore Halloween will be at the Osage Center, back where we had our very first show. Half of the arena is going to be filled with a Comic-Con. The other half is going to have a wrestling ring and all this stuff going around.
And I can't help but wonder if I'm going to be going back and forth between the two. Like,
well, that's why we did it. So
Hey,
you
you're
can
all
be close.
stupid.
Yeah, thank you.
You're all stupid. Like,
Run
your
across
favorite
the-
person sucks. Hey, buy stuff. Hey,
Yeah.
hi. Okay, well, make sure you go check out.
Because that's FearCon.
Is that gonna
Yeah,
be?
it is going to be FearCon.
Is that going to be like separated, or is if you buy a ticket to FearCon that includes like general
No,
admission?
it is going to be separate
because I don't want to run into it. Do we want to run into a situation where Jeff Odell has to yell at all the freeloaders?
Yeah.
Oh.
Because
that's
yes,
fun.
I want to see it.
You
but-
know, they have that curtain that goes
Okay.
across in the middle of the Osage, and I think before the show around then we're going to curtain that off. The cool thing, it's going to be almost like a fan appreciation night. Like front row tickets are only going to be 12. General admission is going to be 10.
Nice.
You can get in there, a little bit of a discount for everybody. And then, of course, we are going straight into the Ashley McClure show in Delta on the 30th of November, and that's where we're going to end our year. And
It's always one of our favorite shows. Very
yeah.
intimate setting.
Yeah.
It's the CCW Elite. Pretty
That's
much.
like-
I think a lot of people are excited about it too. You know,
Yeah.
just some of the
Are you,
stuff.
are you doing a tournament again this year?
I'm not really for sure. We've definitely talked about it. I think we might have some matches in a small tournament too. So we'll just see how it goes. You know, everything can change. You know,
Yeah. Nothing's set in stone.
exactly.
Because that like legitimately like seeing how much. Even with how many shows you put on per year, like seeing the amount of extra energy and like the passion from you, not only like not even you, but like even that first one, because that was one of the first shows that we did backstage stuff.
It was the second one.
Was the second Ashley McClure show, and just like seeing the extra effort that everyone put in because of how special it is like something that I'm going to remember forever.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And
Well,
so like that's even though like
Yeah.
even at like the Delta Center, like I may not even do commentary just because, you know,
Where
we don't
would
know
you
if we're
do
gonna
it?
film it. Like, yeah, and
Yeah.
exactly. Like there's not a lot of
Yeah.
space. But like I'm super looking forward to just going and being there and helping like support it, because it is all the proceeds. For those who don't know, the Ashley McClure Memorial Show is a benefit show that goes, all of the proceeds go to St. Jude.
yeah. So what I do is I try to hit, and you know, Lee's been helping out a lot lately, but we go and we try to go to different places and get sponsorships, and that sponsorship pays for the venue. It pays for the permit to have a show.
Because that shit's expensive.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking normally right out of the back, you know, like $300, $400, $500, you know, for depending on where you do a show, insurance, you know, to run the show. So I mean, you're out of pocket a lot, and if we can get those, a lot of the wrestlers, the majority of them donate their pay and they come wrestle for free, and they. I mean, if you remember, the main event last year was Marco and Jackson.
Match of the year.
Yeah, match of the year. You can
Yeah.
tell. I mean, they gave it all, and the crowd ate it up, and it was incredible. It was such a fun night, and all for a great cause. You know,
Yeah.
We all talk about St. Jude all the time, and get me on that. We'll be here another 30 minutes. So, but I'm sure
bring you
we'll
back
talk,
on.
Yeah,
we'll bring you back
before
on board.
then,
Absolutely.
so.
Jason Willis has an open door to the show. Actually, most CCW guys have an open door, except Justin. He has to be invited. Yeah.
And Trendle.
Double locked.
Trendle's, he's not invited.
No, Trendle's
dude's a
fine. Trent
dick.
Daniels is a.
Okay,
Trent
that's
Daniels
fair.
is not allowed.
Oh, okay.
That's fair.
Yeah.
All right, that's going to do it for us. That is, and one last thing. New shirts. Want to mention that? We're going to hit that real quick.
Yeah.
We got the classic ECW inspired CCF&W shirts, hoodies that are available for order right now.
Yeah.
If you go to our Facebook page at least.
Well, you
check
go
it
to
out on there.
capewrestling.com. There's a link
It's
on
on
there,
there?
and you can purchase them right then. You pick your sizes and go from there. I've been asked about this shirt for a long time, and I always kind of put it off, but I thought this would be a great time to bring it out. We hadn't had a shirt in a long time, and
Right.
it's a pretty cool one, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And Dalton, you got a new shirt.
Yeah. I restocked the Best Assistant Ever shirt, which is my favorite design that I will probably ever have. And then I did a dodgeball inspired one.
Duck, was it?
Dodge, duck, dip, dive, and Dalton.
I like that shirt.
Yeah.
That's for the record. And then I have one shirt that was made for me by CCW fans, which was a great shirt, by the way. It's hanging up. So, all right, that's going to do it. Jason, thanks for coming on.
No problem. Thank you, guys.
Allie and Dalton and Asa, of course. Thanks for being here weekly.
You're welcome.
We're going to be back tomorrow with Podzilla After Dark. Yes, legitimately. I've had so many people ask me, are you going to talk about Trump this week? Yes, we are going to talk about the impeachment
What?
thing. I know.
No way.
We're going to talk
You're
about it
going there?
tomorrow.
Oh,
They're called
man.
bullshit.
Hey, I'm going there. And you know what? You might be surprised by what I have to say.
Are you gonna? I don't think you're gonna top last week's show though.
What was last week's show?
When you had world famous singer
Oh, Tom DeLonge?
and second place
He's still
Blink 182 singer Tom DeLonge.
He's still sore about that. By
You
the
know
way,
he
we still
stooged you
talk.
off like 20 minutes later in that episode, right?
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
All right.
I'm choking on my own hate here. Good night, guys. We'll see you tomorrow.
one can beat Mark.
Asa, take us out.
Facebook.com/Podzilla1985, Twitter.com/Podzilla1985, Patreon.com/Podzilla1985. $1 gets you all the pre-shows. And then, of course, if you're listening to this on time, you're in the area. If you're not in the area, it's worth the trip. CapeWrestling.com, Facebook.com/ is it CC Wrestling 573 for Facebook too?
Correct.
Okay. And then, so yeah, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, CC Wrestling 573, and Best of the Best 4. Genuinely excited for it. It's going to be a great show. This card is stacked.
Yes.
And legit, Otis Jackson, Austin Ace, Blake Christian,
And a ton of surprises.
and yeah, who knows what else is going to happen. Like anytime he says like, "Oh, there's surprises," it's always like, "Oh, this is going to be good."
He says, "Oh, there could be a surprise," and then Ron Simmons shows
I
up.
love it. Yeah, it's like I love getting actually excited, like doing commentary, just like, "Oh, holy crap, sweet." I have to watch my language though.
And lastly, before we get out of here, I do want to remind you guys to check us out on Twitter at Daily Surfetched. I post the same picture of Surfetched every single day, and I will until the release of Pokemon Sword and Shield. So it's a great, and it may be beyond. Who knows?
Wait, is this a thing?
This is
Yes,
absolutely
it's
a thing.
it's a thing.
I post the exact same picture every single day.
This
So-
motherfucker acts like he did. He's like, I don't use Twitter. You use it every day.
So now he has a
Daily
novelty
Surfetched.
account.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Have a good night, guys.